I've been thinking about it a lot. I think I'm bisexual.
Freddie, you okay?
In the past few years, we've seen representation of queer people in film explode. But why is that so important? And what's good representation and what's bad representation? And what does that all mean for the queer community?
It's funny, really, this is what I always settle for.
I need you to hear this. You are still you, Simon.
Okay, so representation in this context is just to serve as an example of something. And so for queer representation, we're looking for examples of queer people in movies. And this is important for a few reasons. So one context where representation is really important is for the people that are being represented. So a young gay boy could be watching Love, Simon, for instance, and see himself in this character that is trying to be accepted by those around him. And then that makes them more comfortable in being themselves, knowing that they might be accepted as well. Another really important aspect of representation is to decrease the likelihood of prejudice and discrimination coming from different people. Studies have been done, and just through the mere exposure effect, we find that marginalized groups getting represented in positive ways decreases people's likelihood to have prejudices against them.
All right, people, back up. Drop your bricks and your stones and your bottles and back the hell up.
You might be asking yourself, why is a movie about the Stonewall riots in the section about bad representation? Well, the answer to that is actually quite simple. It misrepresents what happened and who the major people at play were. A lot of the people who started the riots were women and women of color, people who were trans, yet the movie focuses on a cisgender, white, gay man, which is arguably the most represented category within the queer community when it comes to film. Misrepresenting history does nothing to help the queer community move forward or to help stop prejudice from other people. And that is why this is bad representation. My next example here is from the movie Zoolander 2.
Meet the biggest supermodel in the whole world. Is all.
Are you like a male model or a female model?
All is all.
I think he's asking, do you have a hot dog or a bun?
This scene made a lot of people angry for a number of different reasons. So, for one, there is a non-binary character who's being played by Benedict Cumberbatch, who is a cisgender actor, which that isn't always a big deal, but it ends up that the whole character is a joke, and that's what really made the trans community so upset. They weren't trying to accurately portray someone from a marginalized community, they were just trying to make a joke, and that is why this is bad representation. Now getting into some good representation, this movie, Moonlight, follows a queer black man throughout his entire life, and this is considered good representation because he's not perpetuating any stereotypes, and especially since the character is a queer person of color, that will help to break down some of the racism within the queer community and homophobia within the black community as well.
Okay, so I'm late for Maureen's sound check. I gotta go.
Although Rent is considered problematic in a few different ways, I've decided to include it based on its merits of queer representation. Based on the 1996 musical of the same name, Rent follows an ensemble cast of people in New York City living through the AIDS crisis of the 1980s. We see several different characters pictured on screen right now. On the left is Angel, who is a transgender woman. Rent includes multiple different sexualities and identities throughout its runtime and its ensemble cast. And it really is just a beautiful work, even if it is problematic in a couple different ways.
And at least you are my love. Alive, be my life.
Angelina Jolie says she is proud of Marvel for refusing to cut scenes in Eternals featuring the MCU's first openly gay superhero, Phastos, after the film was banned in several Gulf nations. Marvel's latest superhero movie was due to hit theaters in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Kuwait on November 11th, but it was pulled from release after local censors made several edit requests that Disney wasn't prepared to make. Sources suggest those edits were around the film's inclusion of a same-sex couple, Phastos and his on-screen husband Ben, and a scene in which they share a kiss. Jolie told the Australian website news.com.au during a junket interview, "I'm sad for those audiences, and I'm proud of Marvel for refusing to cut those scenes out." She continued, "I still don't understand how we live in a world today where there's still people who would not see the family Phastos has and the beauty of that relationship and that love. How anybody is angry about it, threatened by it, doesn't approve or appreciate it is ignorant."
As you saw in the previous clip, this is the first time that a major studio like Disney is refusing to edit out a scene containing queer characters for foreign audiences. And this is a big step for moving forward because it will help pressure those countries to help make positive changes for the queer community also. While domestic progress is also very important, there is a lot to be done in other countries, and those people continue to be neglected by the people here, and there's certainly more than we can do for them.